You know, hello, hello, hello. We are here and alive, and we are live, and hopefully, internet plays well with us. So, just gonna take a moment because not sure if everybody knows that we are here just yet. You may know because on my page. However, just a quick introduction, at least who I am, and then while I'm checking in to make sure we are where we need to be, then I'll have Kitty introduce herself. So for those of you who don't know me, I think that's a little weird, but anyway, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the founder of Holistic Fitness NY, located in Queens. I work virtually with all clients, women over the age of 40, helping them to get strong, reminding them weights are their friend. I am a Reiki master, medical astrologer, holistic integrative teacher, card creator, and card reader. And there's so much more to me, but we're going to keep it there because the list can go on and go on and go on. And my sidekick here, the one who I come and play, and we haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to have her introduce herself in regards to what she does. Yeah. As she's introducing herself, I'm just going to make sure we are streaming where we need to. So, Kitty, take it away. Introduce yourself.
Well, you are streaming on your page because I've shared it to Intuition of the Soul. So you are streaming there.
Awesome.
I am Kitty Beauty Foss. Oh, I got to add that to my thing for storytelling astrologist, reader of the stars. There's a lot of things that I do. I'm a co-creator of Intuition of the Soul. I have a course called Optimize Your Energy, and we like to come and talk and play about the stars and the numbers. And today's title is from a question that Joanne asked me. When is this going to end? And she said, "Oh, write it. You'll have to write it down." I said, "No, you'll remember this title." And so, when is this going to end?
Yeah.
And the short answer is it's not. It's a new age, a new stage that we're in. And part of what we're learning to do is be in this particular time space. What's going to end is it being such a mystery. Things will reveal themselves and on will go from there. So that helps answer that question. When will this end? So how you doing, Joanne? Everything streaming correctly?
Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. I'm just inviting some folks on with us who may not remember that we are live. Sometimes we just have too much going on in our lives that we can't remember. So just taking a minute just to invite some folks in. So, and if you do not get a personal invitation by me, do not be insulted. I can only remember so many names at one time, and ideally remembering people's last names and making sure I spell them right so I can pop in on Facebook because, all these technical things that go on. Anyway.
And Mercury is retrograde. So
yeah, so we are streaming.
Remember, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go through that way. And Mercury retrograde is such a gift right now. It really is.
Yes. So before we dive into our topic, I want to remind everybody who is with us to do us a favor. To keep this going, go ahead and hit the share button. Invite your friends. Let your friends know we are here. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. And also another favor to ask for both Kitty and I, even though it's not exactly streaming on that platform, both Kitty and I are on TikTok, and we would love for you to join us there as well, because the two of us post things and share insight, and we can always use your help in helping us to grow. I know I can. I know Kitty's page has over 1,000 people, which I always ask her, why is she not on there doing lives? Don't know, because I know if I had over 1,000 people subscribe to my TikTok page, I would be on there doing the lives. What about
3,000.
What about her?
I have 3,000.
You have over 3,000, and you're not there doing lives.
No, but I'm there.
Can you?
Ron, I'm there faithfully every day. I upload my astrological take on the day.
Yes, but you're not there doing lives. And I know that that's something I am working towards, trying to get 1,000 people. I have like over 700 something people more than I need. So yeah, every little bit of help. I mean, Kitty, if you want to throw like 1,000 of your friends that's on your list onto mine,
No.
feel free to do that, because
I'm grateful for all of them. I am, and they're welcome to like both places. So,
yes.
And you know, you're faithful showing up too. So that's a big piece of it.
Oh yes. I'm faithful showing up as going on, and I guess they call it recordings. I'm recording the message and then I'm sharing it, and then people get to watch them while they're recorded. Although I always love the interaction where I would be able to actually get on to TikTok, like we're doing here, where I get to actually be in real time with people. You know, I guess that's just I don't know what it is about that energy that I so appreciate. Anyway, want to say hello to Anne.
I do too. I do too, but I think I don't do lives because I'm not doing it with someone, so that's different. So we are, you know, I'm doing it.
Let's go on the topic of the night. There's full moon in Aquarius, which is my moon, people. This is my moon, and I'll share with all of you, but this is my moon.
She owns the moon, damn it.
I do. When the moon is in Aquarius, it is my moon, and everybody else can have a little piece of it. However, the way I understand this full moon, it's a very big moon, so I think I can share it out a lot more than just little pieces. So yeah, I'll do that this time around. So let's talk about this full moon in Aquarius, Kitty. What is it helping us to do? What is it? I'm not going to use the word stopping us from doing, because I think this energy is so powerful. Nothing can stop us from doing anything except ourselves getting in our own darn way. Hello there, Sue. How are you, my love?
Hi, Sue.
So again, talk to us about the moon.
Well, this moon, first of all, this month Venus has been quite a player all the way through, and I've been hearing things about the squares with Saturn, and Saturn and Jupiter have had a square. Mars has been a piece of this, but once again tomorrow we have this Venus energy continually stepping forward all month long, and if it hasn't been Venus herself in Leo and Virgo, it has been either Libra or Taurus, what she rules, stepping forth. And tomorrow we have quite a bit of energy. We have a square going on with our Jupiter placement, that's with Venus. So this full moon is all about the vision. It's Aquarian energy. And it is all about the vision, our revolutionary energy, how we think as a common group. And again, all I can own is how my sovereignty of this. So my version of vision is part of the collective version, and me fine-tuning that allows me to hold that bigger space that's happening. And we have in this, it's at 2:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have our Venus energy playing tomorrow in expansion. There's some discernment around how we're responding to things, how Venus, who is in Virgo, which is called her fall position, she's not super comfortable in Virgo. Because Venus likes balance, Venus wants stability, Venus wants all of these things. And in Virgo, it can seem that it's pulling all the pieces apart. So Venus has to learn even more about all the smaller nuances of her values and how she balances. And tomorrow she's really working, trying to figure out how to respond to all of these little pieces of information that are coming through. And she's even in an opposition with Saturn, who's also in an opposition with Saturn itself is having its issues and squaring with Mars. So there's a lot of boundaries and constrictions and trying to figure out value that is coming with this Aquarian full moon. And full moons are, what am I letting go of? what do I have gratitude for? And I just heard I have gratitude that it's only this Aquarian moon, and what I give forgiveness around. And the moon itself is also having an opposition with our Mercury retrograde. So that's a little bit tougher. That's about our intuition and how am I responding and what's going back and forth. And Mercury, which is retrograde, is in Leo, trying to figure that out for myself. How do I find that balance in me versus the bigger energy? This is how I think and I respond, energy going back. And then that Saturn energy is also squaring. They're both the bridge planets, the ones that sit between our outer and inner energy. That Saturn is squaring Jupiter. And so once it's squaring Jupiter, which is always an interesting combination, how do I expand what restricts me? And how do I figure out what is expansion and new structure and what is restriction and things I need to get rid of? So there's a lot stepping forth in this Aquarian energy that is coming forth. And even the sun in Leo, what that wants to move us forward is, and so is the moon, both in a square with our Uranus placement. So Uranus is a big player tomorrow. There's some big awakening stepping forth in these squares and these, but a square is discernment. It's an opportunity to go, I don't know quite what it is, so let me think about it. Or this is the part I know, let me do this piece of it. So, and of course, Uranus is in Taurus. Oh yeah, Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. Again, a lot of that Venus energy stepping forth tomorrow. There are a lot of changes, and how am I going to be comfortable with them? So
yes, I love all that. So what I'd like to add to all of what Kitty just said, bringing the aspects of numerology into the conversation, and also the aspects of our physical body into the conversation. And unfortunately, I was having a sneezing attack as Kitty was talking about all the different aspects for tomorrow. So I had to look at my calendar to see if I can catch up and write out all the different planets, but didn't do that. It's okay. I'm going to wing it. And Kitty's going to remind me if I miss something regarding when we talk about the physical body of this process. Because when we think about the moon being in Aquarius, it is about the vision that you hold for your body, how you see yourself as being a strong and healthy version of yourself, so you can withstand. And all day, anytime I connected with Spirit, I just kept hearing Spirit say the storm. Withstand the storm that's going on within you. There's not an actual storm. This energy that we're experiencing actually is working for you. However, as humans, we tend to always make more of something than what it really is. So because that is the case, there's a storm going on with you. So you want to be physically strong and mentally strong enough to withstand that storm that's going on within you through this moon in Aquarius and the vision that you hold for yourself. Ideally, as we say in the manifesting world, if you are looking to become a stronger, healthier version of yourself, it really starts with your vision. You have to see yourself as that strong and healthy version of yourself in order to actually create it. And then in addition to creating it, you also have to act as though you are that strong and healthy version of yourself already. It's not about acting strong when the vision has appeared in your reality. It's about actually doing it beforehand. And that's how it becomes part of your reality. In addition to the Saturn energy that's going on. Now, Kitty, again, like I said, I was having a sneezing attack. So Saturn is doing what with who?
Oh, that's Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn has a square with Jupiter.
Okay.
Saturn has an opposition with Venus. Now, and Saturn, so therefore Saturn does have a conversation additionally going on with Venus, because Venus is also in a square with Jupiter. So, and interestingly enough, both the moon and the sun are squaring Uranus, which is ruled by Taurus, which Venus rules. So
Okay.
there's a
So
lot going on.
yeah. So before Kitty goes on, because my brain can only take but so much of this to dissect it to give you insight to how it's connected to the physical body. So with Saturn being square with Jupiter, Saturn is the structure and your discipline that you have so you can create a strong and healthy version of yourself. There's a discipline. You need a discipline. It's not something that you do, okay, I'm going to eat really, really well for the next 7 days and hope to see the results you're looking to see after 7 days. It's not going to work that way. You have to be disciplined. You have to create a discipline with this energy. And again, going back to our full moon in Aquarius, the full moon itself is about what can you let go of, what habit and what belief and conditioning can you let go of so you can create this discipline. Now, although Saturn is square in Jupiter, Jupiter is about the expansion that we get to experience. Now, I say this all the time about Jupiter. It doesn't matter what sign Jupiter is in. In this particular case, it's in Gemini. Doesn't matter what signs it's in. Jupiter is known as the expansion planet. So besides your luck and your wealth and your spiritual growth that's expanding, those of you who do carry specific Jupiter energy in either Gemini or your Venus is in Gemini or certain placements that really are potent to Jupiter's energy, you may notice that your waistline has expanded. And good point about this is that once Jupiter transits out of Gemini and then moves into Cancer, then you yourself may start to notice your waistline coming back to its normal waist size, so to speak. So in addition to also Saturn being in opposition with Venus, is that what you said, in opposition with Venus?
Yeah, it's also an opposition with Venus, yes.
Yes. Venus is also very much associated with our physical body. So because Saturn is again in Pisces in retrograde, trying to bring things into flow, and Venus is sitting in Virgo, which is our routine, we may again have this back and forth in regards to, can I be disciplined? So again, coming back to our full moon in Aquarius, this is about what can you do to let go of the things that prevent you from being disciplined so you can create this healthier, stronger version of you. I'm going to leave it there on the planets for now. I want to just bring in the numerology specifically for tomorrow's date because that's when our full moon is. Two things I want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about the date first, and then I'm going to ask Kitty about something as well. So she's going to come back into this conversation. So tomorrow's energy, when we talk about the date, 8/19/2024. So there's nothing, I'm going to use the word fabulous about having to write the date out because there's no numbers that are actually repeating itself other than the twos from 2024. However, I always suggest to write the numbers out anyway so you can actually see. When you think about that 19, it reduces down to a 10, which then reduces down to a 1. So our number for the day, our overall energy for tomorrow, happens to be the same energy as the universal year, which is 8. It carries an 8 energy year, an 8 energy day, which is about your karmic reset. You get to reset your karmic connection that you have with your body weight, with your body contract. So anything that you got going on with your physical body that you have been trying really, 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 really hard to transform, tomorrow's a perfect day to work on that karmic reset with your physical body. So if there's anything that is out of alignment with your physical body, if there's pain, if there's illness, and even disease for that matter, tomorrow is a really perfect day to sit with this full moon's energy to work on letting it go. Will require some reflecting and journaling and getting really, really, the word I'm looking for, really real. It didn't want to come out because there was a lot of really. Getting really real with yourself in reference to, are you really ready to let go of whatever it is that's related to your body? And when I use the word, are you really ready? Most of you are shaking your head like, yeah, I'm ready. Keeping in mind that there may be a little payoff to why you haven't completely transformed to become the best, healthiest version of yourself. There's a little payoff. And that payoff, as I've explained numerous times, may just be about giving you permission to get support without having to ask for support. And sometimes we tend to not want to say to somebody, I need your help with X, Y, and Z, yet something shows up, such as pain or an illness gets flared up, and then that gives us permission to lay back and have people help us out. And sometimes that payoff is so intense that it really is the one thing that stops us from releasing that contract, the karmic contract with the illness or pain or disease, only because the payoff is so much stronger than the actual situation you're in. So Kitty, with the numbers, I know that the degrees to this full moon is, I believe you said 27 degrees?
Yeah, this
Am
is
I right on that?
This is at a 27 degree, which is our astrological United States moon this year. Normally it's at 29 degrees, so it's very close anyway. And so this really is about a visioning conversation for the United States, especially. Who do we want to be? What is it we want to be? And today I had my own example of that. This Gemini energy is very interesting with Jupiter expansion with Gemini, because Gemini is about how we respond. And what we're learning now is we have choices in first how we experience something, then therefore how we respond, or how we respond is how we experience, and then we use our voice. Gemini is the only personal air energy, thinking energy. It's about how we personally think. And of course, with Mercury in Leo, it really is right now retrograde, looking at how we are speaking to ourselves, responding in these expansion things that happen for us. And then you add this Venus energy that it seems to be around of what is it I value? What is it I find balance with? And so it is feeling, when will this end? And the truth is you're becoming so much more your authentic self. It isn't supposed to end. It is really opening those doors and, showing you, is this what I want? Is this not what I want? And so tomorrow, when we let go of things, what gets in the way of your vision? If you know where your Aquarian energy is, yours is on the 10th house, right?
One sec.
She's writing notes. Yours is on the 9th and 10th house, right?
No, my Aquarian moon is actually on my, I'm sorry?
It's on your 8th house because it's
No,
before.
it's on my 7th house. My 7th. My Aquarian
moon, but some of your Aquarian energy is also 8th house, right?
Yes, that's my Mercury.
Okay, so this is very much, and since tomorrow is 8, there is a correlation for you in that 8th house of transformation, in that, and so Mercury, which is in Leo right now, retrograde, for you has a little extra. The word they just used was kick tomorrow. How am I going to respond? And sometimes I respond in ways I don't really want to, and then I go back and reflect upon them. Sometimes we decide to jump down the well and kind of say stuff we know isn't going to go well. But that's when we take a friend and a flashlight with us, about that kind of energy. And so there is a piece of this, because Mercury is also in an opposition with that moon tomorrow. And so it is going back and forth. And what about me? How do I want to respond? Where does my line end? And here we are talking about a full moon. What should I forgive? What am I letting go of? And what am I grateful about? And, today I had my own one of those, I jumped kind of down the well, and then I decided to come back. And it was somebody had made a remark on something I had posted, and it was about teachers, which I was for many, many years. And they wanted to start an argument about that's what teachers should be doing. That's what they're paid to do. And at first, I got activated. I think my first answer was bullshit. And then I went back and just said, to this person's point, is a teacher is contracted a certain amount of days, and of those days they're supposed to work, there's a certain amount of hours they're supposed to work on those days. And if you want to argue that they aren't volunteering, then let teachers work exactly what's in their contract, which most people, that's what they do, is they work their contracts. You find that, oh, wait a minute, they did do a whole lot on their own time. So, and what's the point in me arguing with this person? They've not been a teacher. I do know their wife taught Sunday school, whole different animal. Again, I had to think about, what do I really want to respond? What I really want is not to be activated by it, but that didn't happen.
Exactly.
So now let me look at the response and how I'm going to experience it. And I'm glad I went back to change it to a much more neutral response, because that's what I'm envisioning I can do, because there's nothing I can do to change this person anyway. So why waste any other energy on it? So.
Exactly. And going back to the degree of the full moon, and the reason why I'm going back, in case some of you are curious, again, it comes back to the number concept here. When we talk about the number 27, before I break it down or add it up, whichever way you want to look at it, I do want to look at those two numbers, 2 and 7, because they are so interesting in regards to this degree that we're in and how quickly my brain goes down this analytical road, where the number 2 is associated with Taurus energy, which is the relationships we have with one another.
Which is ruled by Venus.
That's exactly where I was going with this, where it's that relationship we have with one another, the relationship we have with our physical body, and how we value the relationships we have with one another and our physical body. And another thing to bring to the equation is the relationship we have with money. Now, this is a conversation I have with so many people in my industry. When potential clients come to me, the money aspects of things, and it's like, well, if you value your physical body enough, then you can then take the whole question out on the money aspects of things. But that's not where I was going with this. Just bringing up the concept that the number 2 is associated with Taurus energy, and number 7 is associated with Libra's energy, which is also ruled by Venus energy. So again, the 7 energy is the contract that you do have with your physical body. And every one of us, and I think I spoke a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago at an event that Kitty and I were both at, we were both speaking at. And we all came into this life having a specific contract with our physical body. And whatever that contract is, maybe there's a contract with pain or illness or weight or whatever it is. And we all go through different cycles in regards to what is going on in our life. Whereas we may need that extra weight for something. Maybe it's to ground us. Maybe it's to slow us down. Maybe it's to help us feel more compassionate and patient. So whatever that contract is, which is that 7 energy, it again comes back to the whole concept of valuing your physical body, loving, which is that Venus energy, because Venus is about love and beauty, loving the body you're in, because you only get one. And yeah, there's so many things we could do nowadays, through surgery and whatever not, but the bottom line really comes down to it. Even if someone decides to go to have surgery and change up the way their body looks, there's still a contract that you have to work through. Even though you cosmically changed your body, you still have a contract to work through, so your body and mind can be on the same pathway in order to push through whatever the Chiron wounds are that we have, which is associated with the physical body. and you're still going to experience whatever it is that you experience it when it comes to the chaos. When we don't have things in alignment, like I was saying to Kitty earlier today, the chaos shows up when there's something going on in our lives that's not aligned to our soul purpose. And that's why chaos, challenges, and obstacles occur. So the next time you're experiencing or you hear yourself say, oh, there's chaos or a challenge or obstacle, that's a reminder that there's something going on that has you out of alignment to your soul's calling. So now bringing us back to that 2-7, which I just broke down those two numbers. We now realize 27 is very much associated with our Venus energy. Those two numbers add to 9. And 9 is about what are we willing to let go of with this full moon's energy to help us so we can be more aligned to what it is we came here to do with our soul's contracts, and that we can move through the chaos a lot more quickly. And sometimes it's not even about fast or slow. Sometimes we have to just experience the lesson as it go, and that no matter how quickly we're going to try to move through it, I like to believe, or I'm just hearing now, that there's a universal divine timing to everything. And no matter how quickly you think you're going to move through this process, there's a divine timing to this. So that 9 energy is that letting go of something so you can process into your transformation and also create this connection with higher consciousness and higher learning so you can gain some wisdom throughout all this energy that we are being faced with, all these retrogrades. So, Kitty, how many, as of now, planets and asteroids do we have retrograde at this very moment?
Let's count.
I love her fingers.
Chiron, Neptune, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Pluto, Uranus isn't going till September.
So we have Chiron, Saturn, Neptune,
Pluto.
Jupiter's retrograde right now too?
Yep.
Why did I forget that? Like, why did I forget that? And then we have our North Node in retrograde, right?
Oh, wait a minute. Jupiter, I take it back. Jupiter is not retrograde yet.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
No. Jupiter, okay, sorry. Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Mercury, Uranus goes retrograde. Oh, that's right. And in October, there is a 3-day period when everybody is retrograde, and then Pluto goes direct.
Now, when you say
of the outer planets.
Okay. Now, when does Mars go retrograde? I know I'm putting you on a spot. You probably don't have the date in front of you, but I believe it's in December.
Well, let me look.
The last time you and I had this conversation, I believe it's in December.
Yes, it starts Mars 6th, December 6th.
Mars 6 is a good time.
So Jupiter goes retrograde. That's right. That's why I was thinking about Jupiter's retrograde. Jupiter goes retrograde on the 9th of October, and Pluto goes direct on the 12th of October. So there's a 3-day period where Neptune is sitting at they're all in that last decade. Except Saturn is starting to move a little bit differently. And so there's only 3 days where all of those outer planets and all the bridge planets are in retrograde together.
Now, both Kitty and I are going to give you a little breakdown because I'm sure we both have a different insight to this energy. Kitty, for you, when we have this many planets retrograde at the exact same time, what does that mean for you?
For me, and it usually happens that it's not too far from my birthday. So it is always a time when all the planets are retrograde to know that who you are, your God source connection is in a really deep conversation, helping you align more closely with where you are and authentically what you're stepping into. And And because those outer planets are bigger themes, it really is bigger shifts coming through in your life. And this is a good time to know what your solar rising sign is, because when the planets are retrograde, they bring you much more energy of that. And so like I'm a Sagittarius rising, and this year my solar rising, though, which is the lesson of the year, is new starts, because it's Aries. It's exactly lined up as Aries. So that's a lot of fire. And so something when these planets are retrograde is really shifting for me to start this year. So whatever your solar energy is that's coming to you, you're going to be able to take that and notice it a little bit more.
Now, how does one find what their solar rising sign is?
You go to a solar return calculator and you put in your birth date, where you were on the year you want to know. Now, know that I did mine for 2023, but that my calendar year goes to November of 2024. Somebody asked me that once, well, which year should I put in? You have to do it at your birthday from that year forward to know what energy that you're in. I've got something called basically I've got that, I talk about that bottom plate that's the same for everybody. I've actually got that foundational return. Aries is in my first house. Taurus is on my second house, all the way through this year.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of additionally lights up the kind of the human connectedness, which is why I think today it was important for me to go, no, that isn't how I want to respond. I don't really want to get into this with this gentleman. I need to go back and acknowledge it. Yep, that's what I wanted to do. And it's all right to go back and change it. So
yes. Love that. Now, for me, when we have so many planets in retrograde, especially as Kitty's saying, where we're going to have that 3-day period where we have all these planets in retrograde before Pluto decides to slide over. Those 3 days where we have all those planets in retrograde, from my perspective, those 3 days are your highlights, where it's leading you to where you have to go because you have so many planets in review for you, where you literally can get a chance to do a review, do a reflection back on wherever these planets are on your chart, whatever sign they're in on your chart, and do a review for those 3 days, because I always say that when we have this much energy in that short period of time, that there's a lot that's going to transpire and transition as well in that short period of time. So it's a review and reflection period. And that to me is what retrogrades are all about. So when we do have this many planets in retrograde, it's really about rewiring your brain. We're in a time, especially with Saturn being in retrograde and Saturn being in Pisces for that matter, this is a time to really focus on your karmic reset. Karmic reset based on your belief system. Everything that you have been programmed and conditioned to believe up until now, you literally have the opportunity to sit back and start asking yourself, do I still believe all of this to be true for me? And if your answer is no, 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 then this is your opportunity to really go into your 8th chakra, which is where your Akasha records sit. It's the soul star chakra, and work on your Akasha records to clear your contracts that you have with those beliefs, whatever that belief is. And during these 3 days where we have all these planets in retrograde, that's the energy, that's where we want to be, because utilizing that Saturn Pisces, understanding that Pisces being the last astrological sign, and that once Saturn does go direct and move out of Pisces, we started an entire new astrological year with Saturn. So this is why this reset is so powerful, because you literally have this power, my 2 favorite words, power and magic. sitting in the palms of your own hand if you were to do this work to literally cut the cords of whatever it is that you no longer are aligned to based on your beliefs and your conditioning. You have this power to do this. There is absolutely no reason in the world why any of us need to have pain, illness, or disease from this point on, because we have the karmic reset to change all of this stuff, and that you literally become your own doctor to your body. And as I said earlier, for those who are just chiming in now with us, the only reason why you would choose not to want to cut the cord to this is because there is a higher reason to why you've contracted this particular belief, and it's not yet time for you to let it go. However, I really, really do hope, because Saturn in Pisces in the 8 energy year, we're not going to experience this energy, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, in our lifetime, ever again. Right. Not as a Saturn retrograde Pisces in our 8 universal energy year.
And this moon also being on an 8 is a little preview of that. And what does I want to say? It's important to understand that right now you're practicing how you're responding to things, because right now we still have a lot of earth energy available to us with Uranus and Taurus. But we are getting ready for a lot of those outer planets to move to very male energies, fire and air. And that will be doing. And so being in the habit of how you want to be is what we are stepping into now. It's not about being perfect, but it's about really practicing who you are and what it is in your response, because your response sets your experience, which sets how you use your voice. Your experience, you can choose how to respond again to set your voice. And it is about finding voice very much.
Yes, and it's like Kitty says, with all of our planets we have going on in retrograde right now, and planets to still go into retrograde, there's a lot of earth air. So this is definitely an opportunity to use the earth air energy, and of course our 2 planets in Pisces, bringing things more into flow. This is a perfect opportunity to tap into your higher consciousness, higher wisdom, and move into that space to figure out what is it that I'm ready to transform and really let go of, so I can be more aligned with our soul's calling. And again, this is I'm going to use the word fad, but that's the word I'm hearing, fad. The fad is everyone has a mess that is then their message. And I think at this point in time, and I think Kitty and our good friend Joe has spoken about this probably last year, where we're really not in the energy anymore to really do any of the deep-rooted work where we have to go and heal all of that. We're sort of past that point, even though, yes, Chiron, the wounded healer, is bringing that stuff up. This is a time now to just really be in that space and recognizing that you had a mess. Now you have a message. And now it's important to start being aligned with your soul's purpose and sharing out that message and not being in that space. Go ahead.
I would say with Chiron retrograde in Aries, it's about your internal masks that you show yourself in order to deal with those things. So exactly. You've done a lot of this rooting out work. And again, you're now practicing who you want to be because you're much more aware of it.
Exactly. So you get to show up now as that vision of who you want to be. And it's not about becoming the best version of you, because again, if you've never heard me say this, I'm going to say it tonight, so pay attention. You're already the best version of you. It doesn't get better than this. You are already that best version of you. You now have to actually believe you are the best version of yourself.
And access. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's a big part of this Chiron moon in Aries, is that you have these tools to now access and start to like be in that alignment to, I think our good friend Joe says this all the time, being in that space of joy. There's no reason for us to suffer anymore. Happiness and joy. We can be in both of them, and we don't have to struggle anymore through whatever it is that we've been programmed to believe that we do need to. So before Kitty and I go on, just want to say hello to some more who just popped in. So we have Cheryl here, and then there's Candace that popped in as well. I don't know if she's actually with us. Does say that she's watching, not sure if she's here. So as Kitty and I always like to do, if you happen to know what's in your 8th house placement, since all this energy about 8, put that in the comments to let us know. And Kitty, you have cards that you can pull, and we can pull some cards in the remaining portion of our time and playing together.
Yes. Except that the cards I have right here are your cards.
Oh, that's all. Oh, look at that. That's all good. That's all good.
Let's play with those cards.
Yeah. And for anybody who's interested in wanting to get my deck of cards, you can. They're available on Amazon. And I'm gonna be kind because I'm not gonna read it. If you can see the name of that, yes, I have the nerve to call my deck of cards that long name. You can find my deck on Amazon. A really great way to tap into some more tools and gain some answers. And there's a manual to go with it as well, so you'll know how to use them.
Well, and I'm going to clear mine a little bit because I haven't had them out in a while.
Yes. Yes, Cheryl, the answer to your question is yes. We're curious to know 8th house placement because we have all this 8 energy going on. The current year that we're in, collectively, the universal energy is 8. When we talk about the Saturn energy with Pisces, that's about our karmic reset, which brings us back to 8. The astrology, the Aquarius moon we have going on tomorrow adds up to being 8, so there's lots of 8 happening. So Sue says her 8th house is in Virgo, and Cheryl is saying between her 8th house is Taurus and Mars.
So she has Mars in the 8th house in Taurus.
She has. Oh, I'm sorry. She has Taurus and Taurus and Mars in her 8th house. Yes. Oops.
I have a packed 8th house.
Yes. Well, and we want to remember too that our 8th house represents our transformation, and it plays a big role with, again, Pluto in Aquarius at this time, because Pluto represents the 8th house with Scorpio. So there's a massive transformation occurring. So whatever is in your 8th house, like Sue's has hers in Virgo. So there's definitely a major transformation going on with her physical body. And I'm sure Sue's probably sitting there shaking her head like, yes. And also her routine, because Virgo's about your routine. You know, and whatever sign Virgo's in your 8th house as well plays another part to this theme.
So I asked what was a general message for everyone. And when you get this, the first thing you say is, yeah, can I have more information? Because most human beings aren't this patient. And of course, this is heart chakra. Sue has Black Lilith, Sun, and Mercury.
Wow.
So I said immediately, what's the clarification then with patience? Because we're all going to want to know, yeah, I know. Be patient. How many times are we told? Again, divine timing. And it's about healing with creativity. Look at the 6s.
Yes. And go back to your first card a minute, because I want everyone to see that number 4, which is very much associated with the ruling sign, Cancer. The moon is ruled by Cancer's energy. So 4 is family, 4 is home, 4 is your body, 4 is the work you're here to do. So having patience so you can heal. I think the 3 cards she had, healing and creativity.
Mm-hmm. So patience about that. This is a healing. And I'm going to say to the audience out there, this was a question I asked a guest. And if you haven't had a chance to see this on Intuition of the Soul, what does healing mean to you? The word healing. It's really good to have an idea of what does that mean to you. Is it make it all better? Is it more emotional? Is it more physical? Is it financial? And then the one to come with it to make you understand is you are accessing creativity, which is 66, which is 12, which is 3. The
Yes,
universe.
and before you go on with that, a couple of things. That 12 is our reminder that the number 12 is a portal. And when we see the number 12, it's reminding us that that portal is the connection you have with spirit and the connection you have as a human connecting with your physical body. Now, the overall energy of those 3 numbers that showed up in your 3 cards works out to be 22, which is the master builder. So what is it that we are building in this process of being patient so we can heal through this journey that we're in? And I'm loving the card that literally flipped out of the deck when I was in the midst of shuffling as you were charging your cards so perfectly. Can't make this stuff up, but we tried. Talking about the Venus energy again, when we talked about love, beauty, and money, the card that showed up was financial abundance. And the number 17, which translates to number 8, which comes back to your karmic reset and your karmic birthright to financial abundance. So many of us often stress over our finances because we either don't think we deserve to have money, or we don't feel like we're worthy of asking for a raise or increasing our prices. So what we end up doing is not doing it, and then we end up struggling in the factor of having financial abundance. But it's our birthright to have financial abundance. Now, if for whatever the reasons are, you have a condition or belief about a specific way to how how hard you're supposed to work to get money, or maybe you've witnessed a family member in as a child who had felt a certain kind of way about money. These are the conditionings and the beliefs that you get to decide if they really work for you or not, and get to literally cut the cord up. The chakra here is the third eye. That comes back again to our Aquarius moon, which is the vision. Can you literally hold the vision of seeing yourself living in a state of financial abundance? And what does that look like for you? What does it allow you to have when you are in a state of financial abundance? And how does that feel for you when you are living in a state of financial abundance? So that's the card that showed up for me as Kitty was going through her deck. Any other cards you got, Kitty?
I was also looking, Anne said healing is getting better from something. And interesting for me is healing is becoming more who I am and comfortable in my lifetime. So it is interesting to talk about the word healing. What does that mean?
Yes.
And dealing with the energy underneath. I have not. I'm going to ask for one final card that has some general information for this new moon.
Yes, and I'm going to ask the same question. Health. Ah, look at that. Health.
Yeah, health. Yep.
And 33 is the master creator. You are the master sacrificer to your own health. What are you willing to sacrifice so you could be the healthiest version of yourself? And that's really what I shuffled these damn cards. I shuffled these cards. You would never guess what card is showing up again.
17.
The same card that I had. I'm going to shuffle again, though. That's the second time that I shuffled and it showed up again. So there must be something to this financial abundance that we all really have to look into.
This is the sacral chakra, which is about creativity, and that was the card I pulled.
Yes, yes. And the sacral chakra does hold whatever wounds you may have around your house, because it's about judgment, it's about shame, it's about guilt, it's about blame. So perhaps during this full moon, you can work on those 4 aspects to release any of what it's attached to, so that you can begin the process of whatever healing means for you. All right. I was going to say, if it showed up again, I was going to fall on the floor. Interesting card to show up here now, which makes a lot of sense with all that we are talking about, because a big part of our journey to healing, and whatever healing means to all of us, the highest level of healing is forgiveness. Forgiveness. Healing is forgiving yourself for whatever experiences you've had with another party, whatever the situation was, whatever what was said or done or whatever, being able to forgive yourself for it. And then extending that healing and forgiving out to the other person. The chakra here is the crown. Your crown is theoretically your highest chakra, besides for the soul star. This is really about the higher consciousness. When we can move into our wisdom and recognize that, is it really worth holding a grudge or being angry or being resentful or any other word that we might use towards another person or even ourselves? It's just so much easier to move into a space of forgiveness. And then our number 99, which translates to 9 again, this is about what can you let go so you can be in a space of forgiveness. How many of us can, during this full moon in Aquarius, take the time to move in a space of forgiveness? Take the time to put pen to paper and write that one person. And if you have a list of people that you need to forgive, you can do this for each person, and write them a letter of forgiveness. And the rule of this letter is you don't give it to them. This is a letter that you're writing for yourself so you can let go of that energy and move forward. But forgiveness is the key.
Yeah, and that's what full moons are about. So to access that forgiveness, and for things that got in the way of your vision. So make sure on that list of forgiveness, you put yourself number 1.
Yes, write yourself a letter too. And write your inner child a letter. I mean, we keep talking about this Chiron moon in Aries. Your inner child. It's so important to forgive your inner child. Tell your inner child how much you forgive them for whatever it is they might have felt like they've done wrong, especially for, and I'm going to little glance at Kitty over here, especially for those of you who do carry your Chiron moon in Aquarius, because the Aquarian Chiron moon is just really about not fitting in, and depending on what house your moon is in, the Aquarian is just, they don't fit in, they're weird, they're odd, they just can't do anything right, which is not true. So it's your responsibility to literally write a note to your inner child, letting your inner child know that you forgive your inner child for all the things she or he thought they did wrong. And in reality, they did absolutely nothing wrong, and they did everything right.
And the third piece of the full moon is letting go, forgiveness, the highest form of healing, and then is giving gratitude. Give that little child gratitude for what they, they've done and been and did for you, and how they had your back. Wow, this hour went fast.
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah, it sure did. And you would be very surprised that when you do move into that space of forgiving, gratitude, and letting go, especially the gratitude aspects, how much your inner child begins to feel lighter. And then you feel lighter as well. And then you begin to attract a different type of energy from all people around you. After all, the Aquarius, whether it's the moon Aquarius or Pluto in Aquarius, it really is about finding your team, your collaboration, the people that's going to support you and cheer you on. And that's what this energy is all about. Once we can get past that little moment of time when Pluto decides to dip back into Capricorn and does what it needs to do there, and then decides to go forward again and works its way to Pluto works its way to Aquarius for the next 20 years of our lives. Yippee, yippee, yay.
Well, and as it dips back September 1st into Capricorn, it is resetting the karma around our structures. It's very specific. It never leaves the 29th degree. And we'll head right back into Aquarius in the middle of November. I want to say the 14th.
I think it's the 16th, but it's somewhere there. November 16, 15, somewhere like that. I do want to comment on something that Anne just said. She said that forgiveness is a hard one. And here is a mind shift for all of us. Something is only hard because you believe it's hard. So how about we retrain the brain and tell ourselves it's not hard? Because it's only what we believe it to be. So if you want to believe that forgiving someone is hard, that's what we believe it to be. This is a time where you get to access what you believe, and if you're ready to change that belief to believe something different.
And forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's for you. Forgiveness is my definition that I like about forgiveness is letting something go so it has no more power over you. And including, that's why forgiving yourself becomes important. Mistakes I have made, patterns I've let myself go with. When you start to really let go of them having power, your mistakes, exactly what you said, Joanne, new energy shows up, your paradigm shifts, and there isn't so much to forgive in others because you've let it go in yourself.
Exactly. And understanding too that when we talk about the forgiveness aspects of things based on our choices, at the time we made that choice, it was the right choice at that time. So you want to remind yourself of that. At the time, whatever it is that was going on, it was the right choice at that time. So that's why when we evaluate that forgiveness process, it's I didn't make a mistake. It was the right choice at that time. They didn't make a mistake. It was the right choice at that time.
Right. So
and just hold that in the energy and just sit with whatever your belief systems are. You always have a choice to sit back and ask, do I believe this to be true, or do I want to believe something different?
Right.
So I'm just going to read the comments before we say goodnight to everybody. So we have Cheryl who says, it's hard when it's the day to day. Anne says, yes, it is. I have learned that I have to work in that harder. And then Anne says, good night. Love listening and hugs.
And we also have Lady Autumn Sky on StreamYard who has said, or on YouTube, who has said she'd been listening while supervising routine for her kids. And she said that her 8th house was Cancer. And Cancer on the 8th house is, to me, a very interesting combination because it's about nurturing changes, nurturing transformation. And so when you have Cancer on the 8th house, sometimes it is hard to separate what is nurturing and what is about change. So really how authentically what steps forward for you. So
yes. And of course, with her 8th house in Cancer again, because Cancer, the moon rules Cancer energy, then this is definitely something that's going to be in her fields in regards to her transformation, how she's transforming through this powerful Aquarian moon energy. And of course, through all the energies.
8th house Cancer is a lot of water because Scorpio is Cancer as well. 8th house energy, that's a lot of emotion. That's a lot of nurturing, a lot of transformation on how do I nurture. So very much.
Exactly. All right, guys. So Kitty and I do appreciate all of you spending your Sunday night with us at this fine time. And we look forward to coming back and playing some more. And we will, because, again, September is going to be quite an interesting time with all this energy taking place. And we want to keep you in the know. So this way here, you know how to navigate through all of this energy. And we do appreciate you all being here. Have yourself an amazing, amazing night, everyone. Until we meet again on the other side. Bye-bye for now.